Denise Marlo. You are now listening to the Drunken Monks Podcast.
Hello?
Hi, guys. Hello, Denise.
Hello, how are you?
Before we start, cheers.
Salute.
Before we even start, cheers. Do you know why?
Why?
Season finale, baby.
You survived
Season finale.
I survived Marlo for another season.
The season finale. You survived me for a year. This is like about a year and change now. Like I forget the exact day. I gotta check on the channel for when that we posted first. Mm-hmm. But it was definitely around March, April, May. Yeah, like it was March.
We were in our house.
Yep.
Not going anywhere.
It started from the bottom. Now we're here.
Yeah, we did Skype call, not Skype.
Zoom.
Zoom calling each other.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. But let me get to it first. The proper intro that we've perfected over these years. My name is Marlo Brown.
Denise Faber.
We are
the Drunken Monks.
Drunken Monks, baby. Drunk 1, drunk 2.
There we go.
Amen. Dude, it's been a ride.
It's been a ride?
Yeah, man, it's been a ride. I sat here and had you chew me out. I sat here and bared my soul to you.
Nothing changed. I still chew you out, eh?
but not with such passion.
I get it all.
Not with such passion, man. But yeah, dude, it's been a hell of a ride. Season 3, we had a lot of ups and downs. Don't know about you, but I'm happy with how a lot of things have turned out, and I do thank you for, allowing me to work with you and to do the thing that we have done and all of that, and more than that too. Because I'm grateful to you and I'm grateful to everybody that has helped us to get here behind the scenes. But you and I had a bit of a discussion and we're looking straight into the camera. Guys, we wanted to give back a little bit to you guys as well, because you guys have also supported us. All those that watch, that have subscribed to the channel, that have commented to us both in public and in private. We wanted to give y'all like a little bit like a piece of the show, because without y'all there is no us as well, or rather there's no reason for us to be here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what we did, we asked a lot of our most dedicated fans to throw us a question. Yeah. Just this episode will not be so much of a subject matter as ask us anything, and you guys responded. We have a whole list of questions that we're going to get through to, and we are going to respond to them in kind. So? Yeah.
And again, Marlo said everything already, but, a massive thank you to everybody who's been following us, supporting us. Mm-hmm. Our shows are long. It's not for the faint of heart. We yell, we scream, we talk a bunch of shit. So we
touch on some topics, man.
We're happy for everybody that sticks around to hear us out. And even if you just listen to snippets, that's also cool. And very appreciative of all the support and of, comments, people reacting to things we say. And, that is, it's great to interchange ideas, but it's also, keeping us focused and making us a little more sharp. So lots of thanks for that.
Definitely. Like I have to admit, like on that note, we've gotten some constructive criticisms from since we started, but I feel like this season was the one that we got like the most robust type of criticism. Like what we should pay attention to, and especially that we've been able to upgrade the look of the thing and how that we approach it and whatnot. Our guest was also awesome as well. Shout out to everybody that had passed through.
Yeah, thanks for making time, and thanks for sharing your ideas with us, and be grilled sometimes and be shouted at sometimes.
You had a favorite guest?
No, man.
Like real talk. No. Like nothing. It's not to say that the other guests are like lesser, but did you have one that you truly enjoyed? For
this season or for the entire run?
Yes.
What? Yes.
Both.
No, it's difficult. I liked all the guests actually, because everybody brought something interesting something honest.
I loved Marco.
Marco, yeah, okay. Marco.
I loved
was a good
Marco.
One.
Like I genuinely
Melissa as well.
Yeah, man. Like that was a laugh, but that was raucous. Like to put those two next to each other is like. What we did with Mel was like raucous kind of energy, and with Margot, like she brought us to a chill place. Yeah, like she brought us down a bit, and I appreciated that, like, of her, but not just that, but just her cake, like her look on things, and the lens that she approaches things. So, like, a big up where that one is concerned. But again, all the guests we had enjoyed, like up, down, left, right, and whatnot.
Yes.
And yeah, shall we get started?
Yeah, and I think because I typed the questions out on the screen so that we also know what they were.
Exactly. Well, like, you want to start from the back and then come forward.
Well, I didn't put them in the correct order that we got them.
Right.
But since we're looking back and we're talking, you talked about the development. You know, we came from Zoom and now we're here. And every season we try to upgrade. We invest. Well, Marlo invests in better equipment. We try to make, you know, the set look a little bit more decent each time we upgrade. So check out season 4.
Yeah,
we got great surprises in store where that is concerned.
Yes.
But since you were talking about the journey, one of our fans, you know all the fans by heart.
This was from our man Leslie in Nederland. Leslie, partner, what going on? Yeah, but he asked the following.
Greetings, hello, salutations to the both of you. I hope both of you are doing fine this wonderful afternoon or evening while listening to all these random questions from your fans. Just to add on to the list, I have 2 questions. The first question is, how has the podcasting journey been for the both of you? What do you think of it so far? Has there been any difficulties, etc.? So just basically, how has the podcasting journey been for the both of you, Tut and Met? And also, the second question I would like to ask is, has there anything that has happened during this podcasting journey that has maybe made you question or shift some of your ideals or morals to appear more presentable to the listening and viewing audience? Hopefully it made sense. If not, Marlo is my translator. You guys have a wonderful time. Take care.
To answer him, journey and selling out basically is what he's asking. Man, okay, look, from my perspective, I didn't have to adjust anything because we did everything. Like and it's not about so much the podcast, it's just that you work with government. It's a small island. I too am building my kind of network and like group of people or whatnot. So at all times you need to be at least a little bit civil or whatnot. So I think that Leslie asked that about me because I've always been like out of pocket. Like I always talk wild shit like out to the side of my mouth or whatever. And I don't think that I've done anything less than that with you. You know what I mean? Like I've also been able to like tackle bigger subject matter with you. Again, I spoke about my suicide experiments or like experience. You know what I mean? So I don't think that I've ever had to adjust anything else or what. And so the only thing that I felt that I've had to do is that like I felt so ashamed of the Zoom days because it was not what I saw in my head. And I felt a lot better when we got to the kitchen table in season 2. And that felt more right where it needed to be, but I still wasn't quite happy with what it is. Now that I'm here, like that the first episode of this season, I was happy, beyond happy. And that difficulty of jumping from one style to the next and having to figure it out and behind the scenes and the editing, that was the difficulty. Yeah, shifting morals, no, and presentable to the audience, like I said, in the technical sense. I pass a question off to you too as well.
Yeah, I wanted to jump in on the technical difficulties. You are the technical man. Well, Marlo is everything. He's director, cameraman, light technician, sound guy, whatever. And I think it's been a growing journey for us because the idea was just to include people in our crazy conversations. So it's just friends talking. So in the beginning, we didn't have no money. We didn't have nothing. It was lockdown. So we started on Zoom. And then we had internet problems because the internet provider is not always as dependable.
Yep.
So many things, so that was a challenge. And we were often thinking like, oh my God, what about the audience? This is going to be so annoying. So, and I think if you watch the first episode and then you watch this episode, you can really see the growth in that.
That is the one thing that I'm happy for. Even though I cringe at it, I know it's a part of the whole thing. So you gotta like appreciate it.
And I like also, yeah, you cringe at it, but I like the experience as well, because I think it just shows life, and I think it shows everybody that you need to start someplace. And it doesn't matter if you have a great idea, go for it, and then you'll grow as you grow. You get better as you grow. So that I think was amazing.
Can I be honest about one thing though?
No.
Y'all, okay, so between the dynamic between me and Denise, we have a lot of yin and yang going on, right? And
really?
Yes, we do. And in one particular way, I found it hilarious because you were cynical across the board. You're like, nobody doesn't want to listen to us. Nobody doesn't want to do this. Nobody doesn't want to do this. This is crap. No, this is going to be crap. I was like, no, man, just stick with it. Just don't worry about it. We're going to put them on the sauce. You know what I mean? And it felt good to see you see the good responses after a while. Yeah. Like, it felt good to, not in a, like, I told you so kind of way, but it just felt good to be like, all right, you know what? So it's not as bad as you're thinking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, that definitely was a thing. But did you feel that you had to shift like any of your morals or ideals?
Wait, I'm still on the difficulty part now.
Difficulty part, I'm sorry.
On the podcasting journey, I think many people have noticed the most difficult part was us interrupting each other and yelling. So it has gotten a bit better. A bit.
Just a tad.
But if we're excited or somebody says some bullshit, the other one wants to immediately break in. So I think this is just our characters, and bear with us. We're trying to work on it, but it's much more difficult.
But I wouldn't want to work on it too much because I think like that was my idea from the very start, that because you and I clash, because you and I, like, we think that the other's speaking some shit when we just don't agree. And because we're so passionate and, like, we not only could do that, but we can articulate ourselves. I think that's the sauce. Like, I think that's a part of the whole thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. But you also have to keep in mind people listening, and then sometimes it gets inaudible for people.
Yeah, it's a chaos. It's a bit of a chaos. Right.
We did get some complaints that sometimes I interrupt you just while you are building up to a great point, or vice versa.
Right.
And then we miss that point because the other one interjects, and then we go on that tangent. So that was a difficulty.
I will say this much. As I've gotten as much of those, as I've also gotten from, boy, Mali was on point, but Denise was also on point to the track. Like I've had a lot, like my section of the supporters all come back and tell me that it's a good fit for the most part. Sometimes it's not, but for the most part they enjoy our back and forth. So I've gotten that as a bit of a thank you as well.
All right.
You know what I mean?
And then if you have to shift some of your ideas or morals, I don't really know. Sometimes, I want to say sometimes I pay more attention as to how I voice my opinion, but that's not true. Oftentimes people are saying, you don't work for government, nah? But sometimes I'm a little bit,
I've said that many a show.
But
are you working for government or not? like.
So, no. But, my stance is always, my catchphrase was down with the patriarchy, but we've heard some little birdie say tone it down a bit. So I did tone it down a bit.
All right.
But it's not that I think it less. I just yell it less at random moments.
There you go.
Down with the patriarchy. But no, I don't think we like to be more presentable to the audience. I don't think we changed our opinion or set things in a certain way just to appeal better to the audience.
No bullshit. I have been here just bummish sometimes. If you look back at some of the episodes, I just came in from being a father or having to help a friend move or whatever the fuck. I'm in shorts and a fucking regular t-shirt. I don't give a damn about the presentation in that sense. What I do give a damn about is, again, like the technical aspect in the Zinvan, not so much to make it perfect, but don't let the technical side interrupt the content.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like we've had moments where mics have dropped out, cameras have dropped out, internet dropped out, whatever. And those are the moments where I want to rip like wood in half or something. Pause.
Yeah, but I think Leslie was not really referring to how we look. He was like, did you change your ideals or your morals to appeal to the public? And we can say no. Hell no.
We'll say this much, no, Leslie. Like on this point, and maybe you could end it off. In Curacao, the way how she and I speak is very niche. Like, it's not a lot of people that are willing to put even their idea, like not even that you lean a particular way or what and so, but just the fact that you speaking into the ether and it could be brought back and be used against you and one and so, because to live on Curacao is to live by your reputation, and it's something that you guard very, very closely. And so the mere fact that we're here and we're willing to make a mistake, we're willing to say the wrong thing, we're willing to be fucking corrected.
We're willing to, apologize.
And that too. Like, some people would look at us like, why are you apologizing to him, or why are you apologizing to her? Because like he's a chauvinistic pig, or she's like a shrill kind of fucking feminist, or whatever the fuck.
Shrill? What the fuck?
Shrill. Yeah.
No, hello.
Nah, man. Like you're saucy. Like you're like a saucy feminist.
Okay,
all right.
I could live with that.
No, but that one is like the mere fact of us doing this already puts us in quote unquote danger. So for us to be able to go forward doesn't make it. Nah, dude, we haven't changed much. Like I understand the question, but nah.
All right.
Next one.
Thanks, Leslie, and let's go to the next one.
There we go. Boom. You want to bring in?
No, you choose.
All right, cool. All right, so we gotta big up our boy, because he has definitely been. I won't say his name because
say my name.
Because there you go. Because inadvertently, I've been talking about him all season because I've had a good time with him, and we went out and we had a couple of drinks and everything else I wanted. So, but he sent in like a video clip. Here it is.
Wagwan Marlo, Wagwan Denise. This is my question. Is there still place for a monarchy in the 21st century? And especially in the case of the Netherlands being progressive, yet holding on to a monarchy. What do you guys think about that? Hashtag Republicano Tena Morto. How about you? Ciao. Oh, big fan of the show. Big fan.
And so thusly, he's like one of our biggest supporters. And again, I won't call his name because there are stories about him. But he asked, and I will answer. A place for the monarchy in the 20th century. I love the question, but I think it's an open and shut case. At least I don't think there's much to discuss between you and me.
We've discussed this on the podcast.
Sowieso.
I think on more than one occasion.
Yeah, we had like the King's Day little thing that we did, and over the time too as well. Like we've like spoken about
1 or 2. We had about the national symbol or the national emblem. We had a piece.
Right, and we also talk about like the golden century. Like we've talked a lot about Nederland, man, and in every time. At least from my end, it is a certain amount of vitriol towards the fact that there is a system or like a symbolism in place where it puts one person naturally above me, and I don't ascribe to it. I really don't. Like I understand that that's the history, that's the weight of tradition, but a king and blessed by God, and he is to ordain, or a queen that is to ordain over man and everything else. Nah, man, fuck that.
And worst of all, by birth, you didn't do anything.
Yeah, like you didn't do anything.
No qualifications. No, like, I mean, they will be super drilled and trained and fostered during your life, but you don't have no special qualities, basically.
Nigga, you don't got no superpowers.
Other than birth.
You don't got no superpowers. You can't walk through walls.
So I'm like, no.
Come on.
In this day and age, a monarchy you cannot say you're free, and you cannot say you're liberated. You're talking about autonomy. You're talking about equality. You're talking about non-colonialism. All those kind of things can't happen if you have a monarchy. Sorry.
Here's the thing, though. Just like, because it's an open and shut case where you and I are concerned, but this is where I think that we could expound upon it just a little bit. By all rights, if you had to put us into a label or a box, in her way, in my way, Denise and I are like progressive or left leaning or radical or whatever the fuck, right?
Radical?
For here. You're right, but no, but like the thing about it is though is that be it experience or be it just upbringing or whatever, I think like you and I don't think that we've like discussed this, so forgive me if I'm out of place, but I think that you and I also have an understanding of realism, like down with the patriarchy, down with the monarchy, but the weight and inertia of a country, of a culture, of a you're not gonna break that down overnight.
Nope.
Like you can't. Like we're not. Like I think that both you and I are not the ones that get angry or frustrated or whatnot when the change doesn't come like that. Like we understand about the long game and like incremental change and chipping away at the thing and eroding the foundations that keep the thing in place. You check what I mean? Like I know for a fact that I'm not gonna see what I feel to be good justice in my lifetime, but I can put things in place. I can put things for my daughter and my son and their friends and their family members at their age to be able to like take advantage of the fact. Like I am raising a superhero like of a daughter and a gentleman I hope of a son, so that, you know, rape culture doesn't continue with him, it stops with him. This bullshit about what a girl can or cannot do stops with my daughter. The colorism, and that's another thing that we're gonna get to just now, stops with both of them. You know what I mean? Like that, like that type of shit. And at the very least, that you could continue that line.
Yeah, and for me, it's like if you have to fight against something, if you want to combat something, for me, monarchy is not on the top priority of my list.
Sowieso.
I mean, like I say, yeah, there's no place for monarchy in this day and age, but for me, it has more to do with, you know, philosophical thought about it.
Right.
And yeah, also I don't think it's right that we pay, the Dutch taxpayer pay for people to live in a palace or whatever. Maar okay, and I do see the value of a koningshuis, so of the royal family. It has a uniting.
It's symbolism.
I see that.
It's symbolism, but symbolism shouldn't cost that much.
No, so for me, it's not a priority at this moment, but I feel it has to go. But it's not that I'm gonna, die on that hill.
Dude, there's like legit my number one thing that I would want to change here, if I could snap my fucking fingers, is like not so much like the cultural divide, but the class divide. Like I'd like to get rid of fucking poverty here. Like I know that you'll never be able to, like, or whatever, but like at least bring up like all all tides raise, like rising tides, like raises like
poverty. Yes.
Yeah.
Like the mens onterende poverty. Like I really need to struggle to survive poverty. Yes, but there will always be poverty, even if everybody has a decent standard of living.
Right.
There will be people who have way more. So then, living in a nice house, driving
but then it's a
decent
relative
car,
thing.
Then that is poverty. But at least you can live decent.
Right. But that's kind of what I mean. Yeah. Like, all right. And let me say it like in a different way. I'd like to make sure that everybody's quality of life is at a decent standard.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, man. So
right. Thank you to our not so anonymous.
Because his face is on the fucking thing.
But let's dive right into the next one. This is let's watch our girl Ella.
Hi, Drunken Monks. I tune in every episode. I really like the way you guys talk about these important topics that you guys talk about. My favorite is especially Denise. You always have the way to say exactly what's on my mind whenever you're presented with these topics. What I wanted to ask is that a lot of times a lot of times on the islands, people like to pretend that only Europeans and Americans have issues with skin color. I wanted to ask, what is your opinion on texturism and colorism that happens on the islands? Do you believe it happens? Do you believe it doesn't happen? And if so, if you believe it happens, do you feel comfortable sharing an experience that you have experienced? I feel like it's important that we start talking about these topics so we can start fixing them instead of pretending that they don't exist. Bye.
All right. Texturism and colorism on Curacao, and do you have a experience that you can share, Marlo?
So you want me to answer this first?
Yeah.
All right.
Or yeah, maybe not Curacao, maybe the Caribbean.
No. I will answer specifically to Curacao because in conversations with Ella, I know that this is a near and dear subject to her heart.
All right.
So basically, what it is, look, what I find interesting about texturism, colorism, racism, whatever the fuck, when it comes to island life, is there's like a disconnect, and what the disconnect tends to be is whether, and it goes with class as well. If you're doing well, you don't notice the shit. I've had this conversation with like people close to me where is like not so much that they're playing ignorant, is just that they didn't know. And when you don't
didn't know?
Or rather, no. Let me say it like in a different way then, right? When I came here, I already was versed in Garvey. I was versed in Malcolm X. I was versed in like in civil rights movements and different things and certain authors and whatnot, and so, right? So you know what to find and you know what to look for. And once that veil gets taken off of you and you don't just see it as normal, that, oh, black girls are not the ones you want a light-skinned girl, or better, a white girl. When you take off that veil and you start to examine it from, hey, but why do we want this? Like, why is this way? Once you start to see that, you start to see it everywhere. And then you start to understand it like everywhere. And
you don't need to understand it to see it everywhere.
The moment I came here, it was like yeah, this is what's going on down here. Like, I came from Stacia and St. Martin where black girls are like fabulous. Like, you could make yourself fabulous and be the one to be, because this is a black girl thing too, no? Like darker skinned guys, light skinned guys, while there is a discrepancy and light skinned guys get a little bit more play, I dare say on an anecdotal type of level, I don't feel it's that broad. But I do feel it's broad when it comes to like light skinned girls and like dark skinned girls.
I think guys, majority of Curacaoian guys in Inuval, they want that white or that mixed,
Latin.
Yeah, that
Latin woman,
light-skinned woman. And I think girls or women also want that light-skinned, like in their fantasy, light-skinned guy. But in reality, they are
they settle.
Easier. They are more inclined to settle.
Oh God!
No, I think so. I don't know if the discrepancy is there, but I think girls would understand. Oh, but that's just a fantasy or whatever, and guys would actually search.
Really? No, but I've seen it on both sides. Like that thing that you're talking about, where you hold so tightly to your principles of what you want or your preferences of what you want that you to the exclusion of everything else. Like I've seen.
No. I say, but you yourself said that you feel that for guys it is less.
Not by a great margin. Like I'm not saying like light-skinned dudes get over dark-skinned dudes 2-1, as opposed to like light-skinned girls get over dark-skinned girls like 9-1. Like I don't think it's that far, but I do think that, let's call it, like if I had to give it like a number, let's call it that like light-skinned girls get over dark-skinned girls around these parts still in 2022. I think that happens, let's call it 7-1, and then with the guys it's like 5-1. Like it's like there's a discrepancy, but not that much than zeg maar between guys and girls.
Okay.
I genuinely think that listen to me. Let me tell you something, right? This is where I get annoyed because to be the one to bring up this conversation about texturism, colorism, unless you got woke white friends, you're seen as like, oh Jesus, why are you bringing this up again? Black people ask you why you're bringing this up again.
Light-skinned black people.
Caribbean black people ask you why you're bringing this up again. Caribbean light-skinned people ask you why do you bring this up again. Dutch people that live here that just want to live and just want to be, they ask you why you're bringing this up again. Because to bring that up is to go into dread, Tula, history, past, this, that, whatever, right? And to bring it up is uncomfortable, and to bring it up is thing. But that's the fuck up pat. That is the insidiousness of it. There is an issue, and it goes beyond just fucking pussy. It goes to who do you trust to do the job? Like, you look at, like, if you got hiring practices, I swear to God, it's a thing here. I see more light-skinned people in higher office than dark-skinned people. I see dark-skinned people more in blue-collar jobs than light-skinned people. Not to say that there isn't a mix. There is a mix, but you see it lean in a particular fucking way. And then above all of that, you only see in Dutch people. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, there is something to be said for if this person says a thing, do you trust what they're saying? Because inherently, do you look at them and think, oh, he's well-learned and well-mannered and well-spoken. This is why for a long time, too, I spoke the way I did. Because I knew that there's a target on my back. People are waiting on me to be fucking ratchet.
But how you speak?
Apparently, I yank.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, I speak white. Or I used to then. Now people understand, at least some, that is not yanking or whatever. It's just, yo, Dread, this is how I talk or whatever. But people will... There is not enough time in the day for anybody to get to know anybody on a deeper level. This is just truth, right? So you have to have shorthand. You have to have stereotypes, symbolism, all that shit, right? And unfortunately, what people don't want to talk about and what us that kind of get it, that are trying to bring forward in as best a way as possible... You sure you don't got no COVID, sweetheart? Man.
I tested twice.
Yo, man, you got rum there, but you need a tea punch, man. Fuck it.
I got Tanqueray, so I need to rum just now.
No, but I think that I genuinely think that the discomfort keeps the discussion from going any further because we're all tired of it. Like, we're all tired of talking about COVID. I think a lot of people are tired of talking about race, whether it's for a good reason, a bad reason, or whatever, and it's hard to bring it forward. And the only...
I'm tired of talking about race. I feel that here, the race discussion didn't really take foot. Like, it happened...
Speak on it.
You have, in the 50s, you had some new intellectuals coming up. But they were trying to, I think, steer away a little bit from the race. Then you had in the end of the 60s and the beginning of the 70s, you had, race relations and revolution, or Margot doesn't want to call it revolution, but an uprising.
An attempt. Yeah, there you go.
An uprising. Yeah. So there has been spats of periods where we spoke about race, but we never really spoke about race, and there's never been a reckoning. There's never been acknowledgement. There's never been. We like to avoid it. So I don't think people are tired. I think we never really actually addressed this topic.
So then I got a question, because you've spent enough time in my home, I've spent enough time in your home, and I think that we could agree on one thing. In St. Martin, that white-black colorism divide is a little less.
Yeah, but there are less white European Dutch people there.
That's okay. So that would have been my next thing. Is like, here it's like you go outside, you could touch it, you could feel it. It's like in St. Martin, it pops up in certain little ways, but it doesn't rear its ugly head to.
Still,
it's there when it comes to government. It's there. You're right.
The people with lots of money, the people with lots of land. And traditionally, they're selling it off and doing things. But traditionally, if
generational
you go
wealth
lines,
and whatnot, and so
you're going to see that it's the white Sint Maarteners. Now they're mostly light-skinned Sint Maarteners. Everybody can name the families. So also in Sint Maarten is there. But I think here we have a lot of European white people, and there has been an influx again. So the last, let's say, 15 years, the white Dutch people are coming en masse.
Because tourism, that's why.
And here it has always been to be cultured and to be educated and to be studied and to be fantastic was to be white Dutch. Not always, maar heel lang. Het was een tijdje, it was also very Latin American focused. Laten we zeggen.
Don and Doñas and all those things.
Like 1900 or something. Right. Or maybe 1890 of so.
Check us for all the historical accuracy.
Oh, shush. Margot, please don't. But there has always been, here I find you've always tried to become like the white Dutch person. And in Sint Maarten, I feel like Sint Maarten is, also you see it in the language, is farther away from white Dutchness. And so the ideal or the values or the characteristic traits that we in Curacao ascribe, or we at the ABC Islands ascribe to Dutch, is much less so in Sint Maarten. So I think that also accounts for a different approach and a different way, of feeling and moving around.
There you go. No, but all right. But then, like, shall we put a pin in this one or like an end towards this one, because like we do gotta get to more. But
of course, texturism is here. Is here.
I mean, no, but
colorism is a real thing. And no, but you were saying about the jobs. You said who you see in high positions, who you see in low. But I also see we don't want to acknowledge it. We don't want to say it. But I see it in media. If you look at who are the news lezeressen,
that was one I wanted to bring up.
And then
correct.
You have one or two dark skin, but it's just to say that you have a dark skin. If you see who are the leads in commercials,
token black in the fucking island. Imagine that.
No, if you see who are the leading ladies in a commercial, you are like, I'm gonna do a study. If you're gonna look at the commercials, you're gonna see 90% of the commercial has a dark guy. Like if it is not a light skinned guy or a white guy, it's a dark guy with a light skinned lady with nice curly hair.
With almost shiny eye and them type of things.
Lichtbruintjes, like that type of way.
A nice mix.
Ever see
a nice mulatto.
You never see a dark skinned woman with a light-skinned guy. Misschien dark-skinned and white kan nog, want dat is maybe comical and blah blah blah.
Right.
But you don't see a dark-skinned woman with a light-skinned guy. And in video clips, all the sexy ladies are light brown with the trip-trap
paperback
hair,
test.
Perfecte billen, but still she has the European features, but then the sexualized black features.
Right.
So that is a thing. And then also I get so upset with these Curaçaoian men, especially those who live in the Netherlands, and then they coming back with a white Dutch girlfriend. I mean, I'm not. Wait. Not that I'm against interracial dating. No, absolutely. But if you see how they treat the white Dutch woman as if she is a god, as if she's a queen.
But they do that with the Latinos as well.
The exact same guy. Before he had that woman, how he would treat his Curaçaoian dark-skinned girlfriend is a wereld van verschil. And with the Latinos as well, because I used to work at a job where I had to deal with visa issues, and there are certain nationalities, Cuban people and people from the Dominican Republic, and as of late also Venezuelans, who need a visa. Right. If you see the men coming to the office crying all kind of thing because they want to bring their girlfriends over, because they don't don't meet all the requirements. So of course the visa gets denied. So the guys come to the office crying, doing all kind of nonsense. Meanwhile, your wife or your ex-wife, you don't buy uniform for your children. You're neglecting the whole family, and you're willing to pay I don't know how much thousands to bring some lady from somewhere. So I'm like, even in
the pussy good man. What you want me to tell you?
The pussy good of the guys, I see a difference in how they treat lighter skinned or white women as how they treat the darker sisters. And I'm
but this is the thing though, and
it's so ingrained in them that they don't even realize it.
Right, but that's what I'm trying to say. Is like, where are you gonna go to be able to hold that conversation? Because it's known and it's comfortable. It's jokes. It is within the realm of normalcy. So what the fuck are you gonna do? Like, you cannot tell somebody stop liking what you like and start liking what you don't like. You can't just tell and yell at somebody to do that.
Nee, dat kan niet. Maar question even, why is it that you like what you like?
No, but
do you really like what you like?
Okay, but
do you really dislike what you think that you dislike?
Here's what I want to see, because I have like any long time watcher, listener of the podcast knows that I'm a comedy fan, right? I want to see comedians from Curacao, from Aruba. Like, where are the Dave Chappelles and the Kevin Harts of this region? Because you're not going to get to where you want to get to, I feel, by yelling. You're not going to get to, yo, check yourself, Dread, check your privilege, whatever. You're not going to do that. If you can show in a humorous way, nigga, you're wrong, or yo, Dread, this is some fucked up shit, or whatever the fuck, I feel like the message is gonna catch on, and that's the one thing I miss here. Like, I don't see satire, I don't see comedy, I don't see.
That is because you're English. No, that's because you're English. Want there is a very long-standing tradition of comedy, but it is not your American type of comedy. We don't do stand-up comedy. That is not a thing.
So then, what type of comedy do y'all do?
We go to comedic plays, and there's been a long tradition, Marlo. They're so popular. And
okay, so then teach me. But then what I'm saying is that,
so you don't see it, but it's there.
Okay, but then why hasn't this changed some of the lexicon then? Like, so why hasn't this hit more?
Maar luister. Like, what the comedy that you're talking about heeft ook niet patsboom morgen effect. So don't say...
I would disagree.
No, it's not like you go to a Richard Pryor show and tomorrow everybody is like, oh yeah, something wrong in our brain or whatever. Nee, so and don't forget, in the United States, and that is the tradition that you like, it is comedian upon comedian die bevestigt, that confirms a certain thought. And niet alles, want you still have the bullshit people there's still colorism, there's still texturism, there's still racism. So it is niet, comedy is niet heiligmakend. Comedy lost niet op.
Het is niet, lost niet op, but I can tell you that yelling won't. Yelling for sure won't. Comedy might, but yelling won't.
Nah.
Right, and that's my only thing, is like at the end of the day, like all the ideals that you and I want to go after, the danger is that you don't want to be that person that is yelling at people to change. Because if you yell at and this is why this is part of the whole thing too, like, as well. I'm having the podcast so that we can have a nuanced discussion. To be wrong sometimes.
Nuance.
No, dude, we've injected nuance a lot of times. Like, we've self-corrected on air. We've self-corrected. We've noticed that we're going in a particular line. All right, you know what? Screw this. I'm gonna do this like this way. You and I have both done that. And what I'm saying is like, yelling doesn't get the job done. Yelling or preaching or finger waving, moralistic standing. We used to call it home, like, yo, Dread, you're on your high horse. You're not gonna get it done.
I do not agree.
No?
I think you need the yellers, you need the moralistic people, so that the more gematigd, the more funny people, the more nuanced, the more balanced, the softer spoken people can get a foot in the door. You need the yellers.
But then the yellers have got to be charismatic then.
Nee. Maakt niet uit. You need the yellers, you need that extreme, so that the middle can move a little. You need it. Zonder de yellers hebben de mensen in het midden ook weinig voet om op te staan. Okay. For me, you need a Sylvana Simmons, and we need to try to get her for the next season. You need a Sylvana Simmons to yell all kind of thing, so that D66 can come with an alternative that doesn't seem so threatening as that one.
She's from Bijeen or something?
Bijeen. She is against racism. She's the one that's causing all kind of ruckus and the Dutch people can't handle.
You have her number?
We will get her number.
You heard it here, folks. We're going to try.
All right, Marlo, let's go for a commercial break.
A commercial break.
Right back. Be back.
Right back.
At your favorite bar.
We're back?
We're back.
We're still here.
We're still here. We're not going nowhere.
Yeah, we didn't go nowhere.
They ain't going no place, man. Shoot.
We're going on a short hiatus, but stay tuned.
Yes.
And we'll be back at some point
yes.
in your life.
That has been a constant for us. And for those that don't know, because maybe we not have explained that on the show.
I don't know.
But like the long and short of it is that we didn't want to be I didn't want and definitely for Denise, the jet setter and the traveler of the world and whatnot. And so I didn't want us to feel like we were bound to a weekly schedule, week in, week out, no matter what. I felt that the best thing to do, and I'm in discussing with her, like every time that we have a season, we take a break. Yeah. And in taking a break, we have a chance to reassess, to look at things, voice our opinion, left or right or center, one and so, give advice, look at what we can do to grow and to do this and that one. So, and this season, this time is no different. After this episode, we're going to take a bit of a break, maybe about a month or so, 3 weeks, a month, maybe 5 weeks. Dependent, but we already got things in place for like season 4, and she said it like already, and I'm saying it too. Some surprises are coming. Right. Some nice surprises are coming, and we're already looking forward. We're already happy to look forward to season 4 as well. So the housekeeping is done. Shall we continue?
Yeah, let's jump right into the next clip. Oh, this is a voice note. A voice recording from a friend of the show of the first hour, Rocio. Let's have a listen.
I find interesting to hear yours, Yuli, opinion about the cohort, the hate relationship from the local people and the Dutch, and what's your opinion that and I also find interesting the other possibility to get entrance for the Curacao about cannabis, so Curacao will not be only depending on tourism, but also cannabis. What do you think about that? I also find interesting the topic about Isla. Do you find that we need to go forward with pushing with Isla, or we need to? It is time to get over Isla and look forward for another possibility with something else.
All right, Marlo, any thoughts?
The first thing that I will say, I will tolerate no comments about the voice note. The reason being is because she's not a native English speaker, but she tried.
Yeah, she really tried.
And I will say it flat. Anybody that knows me knows that I have a speech impediment as well. And anybody that knows me knows that I flame like nobody's business. I will roast your skunt to hair, to death and back if you dare. So try not, please. But that being said, she asked 3 questions.
Yep. Rocio wants to know too much, man. Rocio, rustig aan.
Yeah, no, but she's a go-getter. Like, she went after it. So I will say this one, right? My suggestion is for me to answer 1 because I know enough about that. I would give 1 to you because you know more than me about that. And then we jump in on 1 that we can both kind of come in from both sides.
But I want to say something about all of them.
You want to say something about all of them? All right, so then let me give...
No, you start with Isla and I will then jump in because you're going to say some bullshit. I already know.
No, but Isla's a dead dog, dude.
Okay, give it to me.
Isla's a dead dog. There is no...
a dead dog?
Look.
Oh, For All is the oil refinery in Curacao that has been not properly functioning since December 2019. It closed down, I think.
Right, and that was not because... Like COVID happened in 2020. From 2019, they had the oil industry regionally collapse because Venezuela collapsed. And what happened is that Curacao has a special relationship, like how England and the US have a special relationship. Curacao has a special relationship with Venezuela. So that means a lot of the business that they were doing was from there as well. But here's my thing. Bona fides first, y'all. I worked for 9+ years in the oil industry as a laboratory technician, right? That was part of the matrix to allow me to come here. Was able to work alongside with the oil industry here for a long time. And I will say the following, right? Global trends are trending away, however slowly, but they are trending away from fossil fuel. That is one. That is known. This is you do not get a world where electric vehicles are now becoming a thing without a trending away from that, right? Mm-hmm. This is one. So let's call it 50 years before, like, it's not going to go away. It's not going to go away. Like, you cannot, or rather, science would have to prove me wrong, and I'm looking forward to that day. But you can't replace ships using fuel. You cannot replace planes.
Sailboats?
Huh?
Sailing boats.
Yeah, but you want your Amazon package today. So for now, ships, bigger trucking, airplanes, the airline like industry, they're dependent upon fossil fuels. And I hate to say it, folks, but a lot of the things that we consume, this mic, for example, is built from plastic. Plastic makeup. A lot of things are going to have to trend away from that. So it's not going away anytime soon, but it is going away. You check one, man. So let's call it 50. Wait. Let's call it 50 years as a cap, right? Mm-hmm. Now, the situation with Isla is that you have a rundown and older refinery. Mm-hmm. A refinery that is not efficient, that is not effective, that is not maintained, that was not maintained, and it has a lot of caveats around it too, because if it's one place where the unions have a stranglehold on the thing, it is within that refinery. You understand what I mean? Mm-hmm. So not only do you have technical things, like logistically speaking, but you have the human element that you have to work around to, like, as well, where with that colorism and all that shit and all the racism and so, that is another part of the matrix, right? Mm-hmm. All of that combined to say, and by the way, who are we selling to? Beyond ourselves and some other interested
Cuba,
party.
Russia. No, it's Russia.
Right. But there's
I don't know.
Right. But this is what I'm trying to get at. So you don't have real customers beyond the regular to talk about. You don't have a well-maintained infrastructure, and you have a market that is slowly but surely diminishing. All that leads to the place where, for long and short of it, to have an investor come in and save the day, it doesn't make sense for the investor, much less for anybody else. You understand what I mean? The investor has to come in, and all they want is a return on their investment. So if I spend, let's call it 2 billion as a random number, right? I spent 2 billion euros, dollars, whatever, on the refinery. Get it up to par, get it, as green as possible, like international standards, get the people trained, all of that shit. I got, let's call it 5 years. Let's call it 5 years to get all that ramped up and going. I got 45 years to get that return on investment to a regular marketplace where I'm not the biggest part of, where you have Trinidad, Suriname that is now basically coming up, Guyana that is coming up, all the other things that is going on and whatnot. So, and nobody's looking at you. And plus, Venezuela, which is the chief supplier of crude oil to the island, is a international pariah. So whatever business that you do is going to be weird. All of that makes me think that, like, y'all ain't gonna find nobody. Like, you had Clash and it was a shaky deal. You had the Chinese, it was a shaky deal, and it shook out because they were shaky people. And you're only gonna get like the bottom of the barrel that is gonna be interested. That's gonna be because you fucked up Shell already. Whether or not you was in the right for the revolution or whatever the fuck, you fucked over Shell so bad that they don't even want to touch here with a 10-foot pole.
No, that's not. We didn't fuck up Shell. Shell already saw what was coming, and they say, "Hey, let's drop this."
Okay, fine.
Shell took the money,
right?
They run.
Okay, but
we made a stupid deal, and we stay with the now way from Shell here.
Historically, then, are you going to be able to turn that around with the leadership that we got, with the visionaries that we got, with the interested people that we got? Are we going to be able to go turn it around? I'm sorry, but for me, Isla's dead. You can no matter what you do, Isla is going to be an expensive motherfucking thing. I've heard theories bandied about turn it into like a solar park or one of those. Y'all don't know what it takes to break down even an old and decrepit one. Y'all don't know what it takes to break down a refinery, and the amount of money and time and energy to safely, correctly, and especially in 2022, because no matter if you're dirty in oil, you still got to be green. So that means that you have to dispose of things correctly. You have to get rid of things correctly. You have to break things down correctly. All of that costs time, money, expertise that we don't have. You understand? All that shit. For me, Isla is like a dead dog. It breaks my heart to say it, because I know that a lot of people depend on not just Isla being the thing for their direct income, but there's a lot of indirect spin-offs from Isla.
Yeah,
you know?
Kijk, na 3 years, or let's call it 2 years. Let's call it 2 years of Isla, because Isla, they went eventjes in phases. Some elements of Isla were still producing some kind of way. Maar to me, I agree with you. Surprisingly.
Right. There you go.
People always, and that's the politicians, are afraid to take measures because they're saying, like 4,000, 5,000, 8,000, 10,000 people working at Isla. It is the spin-off of the Isla, the contractor, the whatever.
Dude, the lunch lady that provides for the boys that don't have no wife or whatever at home, and they just got to buy food on the road. The lunch lady.
What kind of nonsense? I have no wife at home. That's a whole other discussion down with patriarchy on that one. Maar okay, you had your say. Let me say my thing.
Say yours.
So yeah, this the argument with all these contractors. Hey, if you in 2 years could not, like, you're still living, so you fixed some kind of way that you're living without the refinery. So the angst that our politicians have, and in great part caused by the unions. You can let that go. You can relax a little. But the problem is, politicians still talk about, yes, we're going to reopen the Isla. We're going to find a new, new operator for the refinery. All these kind of things. Because the refinery is so ingrained in the DNA of this island. The refinery, and it's actually the Shell, made this island what it is. All the people all the different cultures that are here is because of the refinery. I am here because of the refinery. I'm living in this house that I'm living in
because of the refinery. There's one of the Shell
because of the refinery.
Houses.
We have education. We have healthcare. Well, it was actually that was the fraters, but turned into the refinery maintaining a lot of that.
Right.
When the Shell left and the Venezuelans came, for all the bad that they did, they also, Isla was a place you went for sponsorship. Many sports.
It was a drive fair.
Many sports clubs, carnival, schools, all kind of way got money from the Isla to, it was just there buying some goodwill in the community. So I'm saying, and I agree, like, the world is moving away from fossil fuels. And indeed, for certain things like ships, shipping, and flying, if you want to do it fast, you still need fossil fuels. Certain processes in factories, you need fossil fuels. Agreed. But the world is moving away. And we have an abundance of sun, we have wind, we have verschil in temperature, like we have sea, so we have water, we have waves. We can come up with a lot of ways to come up with energy bijvoorbeeld. And eventually, as the development goes, we can also export or sell our energy. We zijn er misschien nu nog niet, but if you think ahead, you can start put in the building blocks, because by the time we reach there, of course, then Curacao is going to say, oh, wait a minute, this is a good train, but the train already gone. And then you need to run to try to hop on the train. Dat gaat dus niet lukken. Now you need to invest so that in 2 decades, you can reap the benefits. But okay, that is a whole other discussion. But what I wanted to come to is, for us to let go of the idea of Isla, I think we need to come up with an alternative, and not in the sense of what is literally going to be placed at the spot of the refinery, but which institution, which organization, which body can take the place of this community builder.
Right.
And the government damn sure is not one, and I don't don't think that it's the job of the government either. You cannot arrange everything.
Listen, government is never good at business.
No.
Government is never good at business. Government is never good at being able to turn a profit or to be lean and mean and all that type of things. Like, so no. But here's my question. All right. So you named some roles that Isla did, right? And you like, Isla for me is like how you got like antitrust laws in the States and whatnot. Like, you got to break down companies if they get too big to fail or whatever, right? Isla fulfills a lot of roles and a lot of things. You don't need one thing to replace one thing. You can have 10 smaller things.
That's true.
Replace one thing. So by voorbeeld, the drijfveer for sport, if sport gets its act together properly, and everything is gotten proper from via government and certain purchase and subsidies or whatnot. So that's one. Same thing too with culture. Carnival is taken care of. The drive fair for the economics, though, that one is a harder one, because that one is like, everybody's so used to, like I just said, is ingrained. It's so used to that big monolith, that big behemoth is there. So as long as they're there, I just got to open my tent, like open my hot dog cart next to the road where they at, and I'm going to get business. That requires us to do more than what we're used to doing. And that requires a change of ideas and whatnot. Yeah. It also requires us to actually admit to ourselves that, hey, Leicester, we fucked up. And I think this dovetails into another question that your girl asked. Okay. Like, we fucked up and we need to diversify. There you go. You see what it is?
Okay.
Right? Without that, if you stop, and that was the thing that got me, because again, like, I worked in oil, and the stubborn refusal, because let's be clear, I got hit with a chopping block of Venezuela crashing as well. Like, my contract became way too expensive at that point, so they kind of let me go. You understand what I'm saying? What happened was, when I started to ask questions from, okay, but then why is this such a big deal that Venezuela was such a... Curacao leadership within the refinery allowed Venezuela to play the boss, and to dictate terms and rules and whatnot. And out of that came the lack of infrastructure renewal, the lack of leadership, the lack of continuity, the lack of all these things.
Yeah.
They kind of left it. They kind of like, yeah, but yo swalagabay. Hold on, you know what I mean? And out of that, I'm like, nah, Dread. And that same mentality still rules today. You still see it.
Yeah.
You still fucking see it within the refinery. And so for me, it's like, unless y'all got a Tula there, you know what I mean? And not so much definitely with the balls too, like or whatever, but a visionary that could bring you into the light, out of the darkness into the light, and bring like a charismatic leader that could bring everybody to where they need to be. You ain't going no fucking place. Just write it off, be done with it, and we're done. You know what I mean? And I'm sorry, it breaks my heart. It really does, because I've gotten to like the place. I've gotten to love the place. But a lot of the shit is tied up in that spot, and nobody wants to have the hard conversation, like you said. You know what I mean? On to part 2 or part 3?
Which one?
I think we could jump into cannabis, because there's a lot of back and forth in between us.
Okay.
For me, cannabis is an open and shut case.
Okay, let's hear it.
For me, cannabis is an open and shut case.
Let's hear it.
We fucked around for the better part of the 20th century because we got propaganda from wherever the fuck. And science and Dutch people in Amsterdam have proven we don't do nobody a goddamn thing, and it could be a fucking cash crop if you want it. Time to get with the times. Done with it.
Well, I feel we got on the train late. Other Caribbean countries surrounding us are already miles ahead of us.
Like who, so?
Jamaica, Barbados.
Really?
I think it was Barbados. There are a couple of countries, we need to Google it, that are already very... Is it not also not like St. Lucia or so?
But here's the thing, though. Islands. All those islands, do they have... This is the beauty of Curacao and Aruba, is what I feel. And to a lesser extent, maybe Bonaire as well. Y'all are the motherfucking jump-off point for goddamn Latin America. Like the interaction and the Spanish and the this and the that and the sharing of cultures. Y'all understand Latin America better than anybody else. And for it to be legal here, I think that there's a certain amount of tourism, there's a certain amount of industry that can come out of that. Right?
Yeah.
Right. So St. Lucia could have it, Barbados could have it, and one and so, but Juan Luis Guerra or Waitecfield is not going to St. Lucia to go toke up whatever the fuck. My man found God in a bud, you know what I mean? Like, right. But what I'm saying is like you guys are uniquely positioned for the Colombias of the world, for the you know what I'm saying? Like for like the Chiles of the world, like I want to so where it's been proven that there's an alto kind of community already. There's a progressive kind of thing. You do the marketing right, the tourism alone would murder you.
Yeah.
Like you have everything hemp and everything like cannabis, and you have, you know, again, you could make a new not a red light district, oh Lord no, but you can make a new Amsterdam here. Like you be Amsterdam for Latin America, and then just have that be running and call it George. Is what I feel. But yeah, like that to me is an open and shut case. Like it should be done. Klar. And so result of science tells you that it should be done. You're looking up something.
I'm looking to see which are the other Caribbean countries that are already far in this process. But I can't find
like
it
you
that
found
quickly.
It already?
No, but I see that CARICOM has a regional commission on marijuana.
Oh, what?
CARICOM. There's a Caribbean thing. But indeed, okay, fine. Maybe we're not too late. And I do think...
But wait.
Yeah.
And this is a genuine question to you. Even if we're behind, do you not think that alongside with Holland that we got enough figuring out the wheel already to kind of get ahead? Like, do we not have a chance and an opportunity?
Holland wants to share.
I don't think it's up to Holland, the government. I think it's up to Holland, the weed industry there. The coffee house.
I mean the weed industry. Because what I see happening is the Dutch weed industry taking over and again leaving us out. And that is not, if we start a new industry, it should be for us. And now I sound very xenophobic, but it should be of the greatest benefit to the majority of the people that live here.
Right.
It should not be like a multinational making their money here
and
then
abroad,
putting it on a bank in Amsterdam or wherever the fuck they are.
Yeah.
The money should be here, made here, stay here.
Right.
So I'm not sure. I think legalization of marijuana, like a lot of countries are going in that direction. So indeed, with the tourism, there's something to say about the tourism. There's something to say about decriminalizing the drugshandel. There's something to say about tax revenues, even though we have problems paying regular taxes, but the country can make money off of it if you do it well. So
it's an open and shut case with caveats with you. With caveats. For me, it's an open and shut case, but for you, mits andere dingen zijn in place.
Mits andere dingen is
certain guarantees, like certain type of...
And mits cannabis is one of the many initiative of diversification. Because what we're good in is we're going to put all our eggs in one basket. The refinery was our monocrop for a long time. Now tourism is our main economic pillar.
You guys had offshore like banking as well at one
until point. The international community Holland just broke it. Maar
and by the way, Holland was the motherfucker that profited from that fuck. Because they stopped it here and they did it over there.
Yeah,
so let's be honest and clear about that.
Maar okay, fine. Maar we cannot, like, cannabis cannot be the only thing to open up our economy. We need to open up our economy. So cannabis can be one of the things. And if we have the infrastructure and if we have the kennis to produce cannabis, can we not do more with agriculture? And I do not know a lot of how cannabis grows, zeg maar, in the wild, zeg maar, out there.
Right.
Niet in zolderkamers and stealing all kind of energy. But if the plants need water, the plants need vitamins, there's a whole infrastructure needed to have a successful cannabis plantation. So can you not also use that to produce other things that grow well here? So you have cannabis, but we also produce something else. And we also will focus on education, that we're going to be the knowledge hub of the care, whatever. Maar it cannot be solely cannabis. Dat is één ding.
Right.
En tweede ding is the cannabis market, so the cannabis industry should be open. Anybody should be able to enter into this industry and make a business for themselves. The feeling I have now is that it's vooral een certain groepje that has this
knowledge
and that gets
knowledge and capital,
that gets land, that gets opportunities. And if it's gonna stay in one particular group, then I say don't even go there, because gewoon klaar, doe het gewoon niet.
Yeah, no, and especially for this is my thing from like, and Lord, y'all. Leslie, you up on a big up. From a nigga perspective, right? Legalizing it here would make a lot of lives easier for certain people. A lot of lives for just not for the distribution of it, but just for the use of it.
Okay.
You know, like there's a lot of folks that partake, and what tends to happen is that a lot of marginalized black folk, they do what they can. They do what they have to do to survive on, and so some drink, some smoke. You know what I mean? And
but legalizing, how they're talking about now, is not legalizing. That is medicinal use.
It is medicinal.
The little guy
I'm depressed and
instead of drinking, I don't know if he falls under the.
Well, I'm gonna get a doctor's note and show y'all that I'm depressed and that my weed is my like comfort animal. Fuck it. You know what I mean? No, but what I'm saying is that like there's there's something to be said for taking away like some of the stuff, because that too has been attached symbolically to like 30-foot black people or whatnot. So you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Nobody thinks weed and thinks, you know, well, you and I maybe do, but they don't think, you know, white artists or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean?
White reggae artists.
Junior, what you say? No, but what?
He ain't white, man. Okay.
Yeah, he's a mulatto. But anyway, no, but what I'm saying is that there's like something to be said for taking away some of the moralistic stance and views of the thing as well. It's just a thing. It's a tool. It's a whatever. I agree with you with the diversification, and I hate myself for saying this, for sounding like some of my friends out of college. But even within cannabis, there's a lot of diversification that can be had. There's a lot of industry that can be had. Clothing, hemp, weightic fill. There's a lot of materials so that can be had, not from the smoking of it, but from the plant as material or whatnot. Right? But that being said, you are right that you should be able to take that knowledge and spin it off into something else or do something else, or at the very least consult. Like if we, again, I feel that even though the people are ahead of us, we can become the head easily if we want to. And in that, there is money to be had in consulting. Again, a lot of money that Nederlands makes is that, we're going to help you run your company well or whatnot. So why can't we do that too, as well? This is how that we're going to help you grow. This is what we've already got that knowledge because, again, a funnel from a lifetime of knowledge from Holland of being able to do the weed industry or whatnot. So I think that there's something there. I think there's there's a whole vast there. You know what I mean?
All right.
We got one more thing from your girl took up a whole fucking segment. So we're gonna do yeah, man.
Much
but anyway.
love, Rocio. Okay, last point.
Coho.
Yes, you were talking Coho for those who have been living under a rock. Caribisch, ontwikkelings, hervormings, orgaan, some shit like that.
She works for government, yo.
Yeah, and my department does shit with Coho. You were saying something when you were talking about Isla, and then I was like, maar I forgot your precieze woorden, but that...
I talk too much, this is true.
Sowieso, but that we let things go, gewoon, that we gave Venezuela the power to run the place as they please.
Don't let things die because we're uninterested or unable to
not
maintain.
Let things die, but just let them do however they please.
Right.
And that's just the feeling I got with Coho a little bit. First and foremost, this whole Coho bullshit is gewoon... I was thinking gewoon Holland never wasted a chance to profit off of or exploit a good crisis.
Yeah.
Dus dat is het. The thing was eigenlijk, COVID hit. Nou, we were already in economic downfall. Het ging allemaal slecht. Dan krijg je ook nog een keer COVID eroverheen. So, money done. People hungry. Business is closed. The island closed. Blah, blah, blah. We need money. The government didn't have money. We need money. As our charter says, when you're in trouble, you can ask one of the equal partners in the kingdom for help, and they should help you. And besides that, we fucked ourselves when we got our so-called autonomy with their law that says that we cannot borrow outside of the kingdom without consulting Holland first. So we were screwed anyways.
Coming and going.
Nou maakt de voorgeschiedenis maakt heel veel uit in het verhaal, maar okay, that's not a point I want to make. So with our back against the wall, we said we need money. Holland said, here you have a bag with money, and I will tell you the conditions under which you're gonna get this money later. We'll figure it out. You have to pay me back, but we'll figure
don't worry,
it out.
Man. Het komt wel goed.
Okay, so and that to me is gewoon unethical. That is unethical. When somebody doesn't...
Nederlands part.
Yeah, when you don't have a choice, you cannot give me something and pretend like I have a choice.
Right.
But...
Which is insulting. It's insulting. It's like, you don't even respect me enough to just tell me plain, yo, Jed, I'm going to fuck you up the ass. Like, you're going to pretend as if, yo, Jed, it's consensual. No, nigga, no.
So, and then in that situation, I think we screwed ourselves also a little bit because the government, we didn't have a lot of time to decide. Holland said, okay, if you want it, you have to, tell me tomorrow if you say yes or no. Bij wijze van. And so that was not fair. And our government accepted. I felt in that moment, the government should have had more balls, but I understand because people were screaming for food. The unions were screaming. The entrepreneurs were screaming. Everybody was screaming. Everybody had an issue. So the government felt they needed to act fast. And they took decisions when I thought if you had the time, we could have arranged it a little better for ourselves. You want to say something?
No, I have a question which comes from an anecdote of mine.
Okay.
I'll always touch base on what we know and what you and I know as friends. You lived in St. Martin, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Hurricane come every year, correct?
Mm-hmm. Well, I wasn't there with a major hurricane.
You wasn't there with the major hurricanes, but you know that that the paranoia is real.
Yeah.
The paranoia is real. Anything develops off of the west coast of Africa, it turns into like a holy shit. We gotta get everything. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then may I ask you like one thing then? Do you feel that St. Martin has ever prepared itself for a hurricane? Not in the old Barup sense of one and so, but I'm talking about the government has things in place. Okay, good. So you understand me when, like I'm saying this, right? You know where everything is coming from. I feel the same way when it comes to this coho shit. I feel the same way when it came to the referendum that split us up and 10-10-10 and all of that. And there's an argument to be had about, because, and that's my argument, by the way. That is my argument as well. There is an argument to be had that we were never prepared to do as such, that quote unquote that we were kept dumb as a people, as a culture, whatever, that we were kept dumb for culturism, for whatever. The culturism I just said, colorism and racism and whatever the fuck, right? Mm-hmm. But that being said, there was a moment in time in our lifetimes where information became a lot more freer, that people was able to learn if they wanted to or wanted to. Mm-hmm. And it bugs me to this day that I don't expect blue collar homeboy, I don't expect Chorandi and Vincent up the road and them type of boys to know the letter of the law and to do their homework. Them boys I'm going to talk on the road and just talk the shit, but I do expect for my leaders and my elected officials and for everybody to at least have done the homework. Mm-hmm. With Coho, with 10-10-10 back then, with the referendum back then, it felt as if nobody has done the homework. Mm-hmm. And in not doing the homework, we're not prepared. Like, Holland could come with the dildo and, no lube and everything. We're going to have a good time. Like, no, nigga, I don't consent. Whoa, hold on. This is my rights and this is what's going on. And we are going to sit and we are going to discuss this. We'll have sex, but not like how you're asking. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And we do this and whatever. That is my main issue with all of this. Mm-hmm. Like, yes, Holland is putting it on us, but again, with the stance of negotiation and everything,
that's the point.
That's what they're supposed to do. We're supposed to be sterk in our schoenen van, hey, luister, gast, nee, zo gaat het niet, weet je? We're not doing what that is, and we're going to bring these things to bear. And now, homework is not necessarily just the laws and the this and the that and one and so, while that is necessary as well. And where the fuck are our lawyers, by the way, doing the job for us as well?
No. So, don't talk about where the fuck are our lawyers. Work has been done. The work is there. The thing, but the government does whatever the fuck they want.
So they don't listen.
We have very capable civil servants that figured it all out.
Right.
But nobody took the advice. My point is
and that's another thing too, by the way. But go ahead. Go ahead.
Make your point,
No. It's not. Look. Just long and short, Coho is. I don't want it to be a quote unquote open and shut case, but it kind of is. Like, I don't want it and I'm still waiting for my superhero or person like you to go in there busting the door like, no, this is not objection. Like I want somebody to do something, but it's not gonna happen. And just as you just intimated, egos and politics play a bigger role than common sense in doing good when it comes to here, St. Martin, Stacia, wherever. You know what I mean? And the sad part about it is that these things have long-lasting effects. If it was like today is this, but tomorrow we actually get to act to fucking get it and we can get it right, cool, but we don't have that chance. Again, these things that we lay and we ratify now are going to affect the road that we walk, and nobody in leadership seemed, with the exception of a particular few, seems to respect that.
Yeah, that.
Right.
Maar so I was saying, what Holland did to me was amoral. You cannot claim, you cannot do this bullshit in a democracy. If it happened in Holland, this would have never flown, whatever. Okay, that ship has sailed. We didn't do our best in standing up and negotiating and wanting things.
Right.
So now, to me, even though I do not agree with how the whole coho came about.
Here's where we are.
It is true that that are reforms that they put in coho that we need to do. They are long overdue. There are 20, 30, 40, 50 years reports saying that we have to do these reforms that Holland now is obliging us to do in coho. So that is on us, and that is something we have to do. So I'm like, okay, the ship has sailed. We gotten the money, the COVID relief and all the other money. So now we have to comply with the requirements that they put. But my point is, instead, the discussion is still going about coho, boohoo, autonomy, this, that, and the other. The point is, we gotten the money. We accepted the money.
Have we earned our autonomy?
Let us know. Hele andere discussie. That was not a question. So now we need to focus on getting the most out of coho that we can.
Right.
Coho is een ontwikkelings- en hervormingsorgaan of organisatie.
Right.
So it's about reform and it's about development. And yes, we need a lot of reforms, and yes, we need the development. So instead of bickering over autonomy, instead of bickering over who is in the coho, yes or no, let's start looking at the inhoud. Let's start discussing the content, because Holland has a whole list. Uitvoeringsagenda, landenpakket, we have to do this, that, and the other. Just let's start. I don't hear nobody talking about those things. Like, yes, we need.
I mean, we have a friend. Like, we have a friend that talk about it. You know, we have a friend that talk about it.
Okay. But that's the same thing that they said here in Parliament. But I'm still not hearing, okay, we need reforms in education. Hoe gaan we dat aan? Wat willen we? Wat hebben we nodig? Who do we need for that?
What worked and how do we adjust it to here? You know?
Now that Holland says, okay, you need to develop and you need to reform, we have to say, okay, for education, this is our plan. This is what we need. How will you assist us in getting us there? Because we all agreed that we need to reform and develop. This is what we sit and wait. And we are losing opportunities and we're still in our feelings because the thing didn't go so netjes. But I'm like, weet je, now we need to make that step and let the coho work in our favor.
Right.
It's not too late, but we need to start moving. And that's this thing. We are so slow
It's frustrating. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. What was your girl's name again?
Rocio.
Rocio? I hope this has answered all your questions. Yeah, darling.
I think this is the end of the final episode of the season. I think we've been talking, Marlo. We've been talking
for an hour and a half.
Yeah, I think
an hour and a half. All right.
Done. Marlo can continue talking. I'm done.
Okay then. All right. Okay. So then, how's about this one then? We got one more question that's on the books that I do want to address.
We had all the questions.
No, we did not.
Yeah. Okay,
no, we did not. No, we did not.
Let's have a look.
No, but how it name? But what it is that.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
That's what I'm saying. All right. So then let me make that the last extra shot of the season.
No, we'll have this in this episode. Okay. All right. Let's have a look.
No. We'll be right back. Damn it.
Oh.
Ask for the penicillin highball at your favorite bar.
So I'm 27 and adulthood is a thing. So your question is, what advice did you need to hear when you were 27? And would you have followed it? Like, why or why not?
Yeah, Edrieënna, hi. Hi, friend. That's a big question that you asked. I don't know, darling. And we're going to try to answer.
I don't even remember those days. Long
I
ago.
mean, I kind of remember them, but all I know is that bullshit was going on. That's all it is. And trying to figure out who I am and what it is and what's going on as well.
At 27, you were trying to figure out who you were?
So, dude, I didn't get a good grasp until about maybe a couple of years ago. Like for real. Like, I got comfortable with myself and no more insecurities, no more bullshit, no more whatever.
No more insecurities?
Very little.
Ik wou net zeggen...
Very little. I mean, you get nervous.
Until the day you die, there are going to be some insecurities. And people who say otherwise are lying.
No, but no more insecurities in the sense from... Dread, I could get pussy fat. Like, I could, like, my speech impediment doesn't keep me back no more. Doesn't, like, that weight I've dropped, having to please parents and family and all that type of shit. I got old enough that I didn't give a fuck no more. Like, Dread, I'm doing this thing, and either you with me or you're not. And that is for wife, family, and everybody. Not in a fuck you type of way, but it's more like I'm okay being alone. And that's where a lot of insecurities come from, because you want to make sure that you're accepted and loved and have a safe space is what I feel. Right? But her question, what advice did you need to hear, did we need to hear at 27, and would you have followed it? So I would put it to you first. What would you...
I cannot say... I had a bunch of things, but I already forgot. I mean, that is outerdom for you. But what I would like to have learned actually at 27 was to sort out finances. I would like to have learned how to start accumulating wealth, how to manage. Like, okay, I manage my money. I have my household. I pay my bills. I have a gasoline in a car. I go do nice things. But I would like to have learned how to accumulate wealth, how to better deal with your money, how to make your money work for you, how to get more money from the little money that you have. I would have liked more of that, and I would I don't know if I would have followed. Yeah, at 27, yes, I would have followed it. If I was 17, probably not. But at 27, I would have followed it. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, and you look to me now for my answer as well.
Yeah. While I'm trying to think all the other stuff that I wanted to say.
All right, so I will comment on two things from you. The first thing is, yes, like, God, amen, God bless, hallelujah. 27-year-olds of the world right now figure out how to make fucking money and keep it. You know what I mean? It's not just about paying bills and getting forward or one and so. It is literally about how to make your whatever you're doing work for you. Your time, your energy, your wealth, your whatnot and so. Make it feed back into yourself and into those that you want to think for. At the very least, get a pension. At the very least, and that does not mean necessarily stick to one place or one job, but your own pension outside of the thing, as long as you're paying into it and whatnot. So, yeah, like for real, financial literacy is a big fucking one. Like that ain't no joke. The second thing that I would want to comment from you is, but this is overall towards that question. I would have taken the advice, but it would have depended on who told me.
Yeah, okay.
The messenger would have been real. Like, now, I don't care who the fuck, as long as you got a good idea, I'm old enough to accept from whoever the fuck. You know what I mean?
No, but still, with finances,
I am older. No, but not.
To know, what do you know? Like, where is your knowledge? If you looked at 2 YouTube films.
No, okay, fine. But okay, but I say this with the caveat of you and I would also look back as like, okay, is this nigga talking shit? Or is this person talking shit? Like, whatever, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, so I said it with that caveat, but I am saying, like, it really would have, because the one thing that that has changed from young adulthood to where I'm at right now was not quite middle age, not quite young adulthood, not quite whatever the fuck, right? You're in a limbo state. But whatever it is like, now I've become a lot more calm and open-minded to listen to what a person has to say. So, for example, the colorism works both ways. For like example, right? For me, like a Dutch white boy telling me something when I'm 27, I'm still in my Public Enemy fight the power mode. I'm still in like fuck you white man, and like I'm in that mode. So even if he has like the best advice in the world, unless he's my best friend, he like I'm not listening outright. And even worse, I was young, I was smart, and I had my head up my ass. So it's like my mother and my best friend were the only two that could get through to me, like at that point. So unless it was through those true avenues, and even then I didn't always fucking listen. You know what I mean? Like, it depends on the messenger. You know what I'm saying? That being said, what I would tell myself, 27. At 27, what? Like I'm 40 now. Okay, so that has already happened. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. I have that major. I fucking podcast took 5 years to get off the ground. Like, I have that major. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Just do the thing and do it. And do the thing and do it and fail. Fail often. Fail hard. Fail, but don't fail to the point that it irrevocably changes your life. Like, don't be afraid of failure. Failure helps you get to where you need to go. The right support around you, even if it's just this much, even if it's just grandma making you like a bowl of soup, like every Sunday, like or whatever. But fail often, fail hard, so that you know what failure looks like. You know that you don't want to be there, and you also learn from your failures as well. But yeah, just do the thing. Don't wait on the perfect moment. Fail often. What else would I tell my 27-year-old self?
Wait, would you have listened?
Again, like I said, it depends on the messenger. If it was my best friend, boss, what's going on? If it was boss, if it was my mom, yeah. If it was you, no. If it was like Cass, as I knew her back then, no. If it was literally like anybody else. And also, just as you said, depending on who gives me what advice for what thing it is.
Yeah, continue.
Depending on who it is for what give me what advice.
Oh, nice little kitties.
Meow. No, but depending on who it is, give me what it is for what advice or whatever. So, I got my friends that get pussy. If they give me advice about getting pussy, I would listen. At 27, like in the music industry, I got a lot of advice from people because I was around a lot of that like at that time. So those people had a lot of sway with me within the music industry. Wasn't listening to people within the music industry on how to how to fix a toilet, for example, or how to do this or that one. So because who the fuck are you? Like, you don't know that, you know this, you know what I mean? So at that point, it depends on who it is and what it is that you're telling me. I would also tell myself not from a social standpoint, but just from a get things done type of standpoint. Legit, don't wait for people to agree with you. This is kind of dovetails into don't wait for it to be perfect. Don't wait for people to agree with you. Don't wait for people to see what you see. Don't wait for people. Sometimes you need to prove to them what you see. Sometimes you need proof of concept. My main word for these last 2 years has been proof of concept. I had to prove to you as my partner. I had to prove to my wife. I had to prove to our sponsor. I had to prove to everybody. Yo, Dread, like, for real, proof of concept, like I had to get to a point where I had to make sure that everybody understood what I was seeing. And in doing that, there were a lot of days where I felt like I wasn't making my point properly. I wasn't trying to do the thing properly. In doing all of that, I actually, for this podcast, for everything else, I've proven to myself and I've proven to like others, and again, and not in a petty way, is like, were able to show when, hey, Leicester, I'm not crazy. But sometimes you need to prove to yourself first before you prove to anybody else hey, I'm not crazy. You know what I mean? Doing all of that. The last thing that I would have told myself at 27 is you don't have to worry about love. You don't have to worry about love. For the majority of my life and my existence, I have had to worry about love. I had to worry about acceptance. I've had to worry about being a black man, being all those things, one and so. So I've had to worry about a lot of things where that is concerned. And is like, I myself have had to try to figure out where I stood with a lot of people. You know what I mean? I've had to like try to make out what is going on with my surroundings and with how the world views me. For me, that came with conditions, and that came with having to please and having to try to figure it out and whatnot and so on and so. And in my years since 27, literally 27, like that's another story. But in my years since then, I've had to figure out, like, yo, Dread, like, there is such a thing as unconditional love. It's not just a word. It's not just like a word that was given or whatnot. People can love you despite your flaws, despite your this, because of your flaws, like sometimes, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I would give my advice to myself as a young man on both the social level and on the financial, and to see how all of this would go.
And then piggy banking on you. That was gonna be my advice. Like, you're worthy of love, you know? At 27, I think you don't have to accept any and everything just because you think who else, or will there be someone else, or like what Marlo says, don't worry about love is not really the advice that I would have taken, but just trust that you are lovable, and there's someone who will love you the way you're supposed to be loved, or the way you want to be loved. And
right.
At 27, there is a great chance that you have not found that person yet. You might be with someone who's not loving you right, and what loving you right is the way you want to be loved. Then I'm sorry to say that is not a person for you.
Sowieso. No, but okay, let me add one last one on top of that before we're done. Cutting off, and not like, oh, I'm a bad bitch, girl boss, whatever, but just cutting off people is not the worst thing in the world. Like cutting off certain parts of your life
I'm still learning that, man.
No, I've had to learn that the hard way. Like, I've had to figure that out. And not so much cutting off, but like, yo, Dre, you stay over there. Like, you be in that corner, and I'm not gonna fuck with you much no more. And the one thing that I've had good luck with is that I've always been open and honest with a lot of my folks. So if I have a problem with somebody, I'm gonna be like, yo, Dred, I don't dig what you did. Me and you now there's a divide. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna wish ill upon you, but I'm not definitely gonna put my energy into you, like, like anymore, like either. But there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with you plant seeds to grow your tribe, but you also have to prune as well. And in pruning, you get healthy plants and healthy garden and healthy all of that shit. And there's something to be said for that is not guilt-ridden, and is not like, oh, you're throwing away people, or oh, you're throwing away the cause. Or, you can have a person as a soldier with you in the fucking cause or whatever, but the person's toxic.
Yeah.
The person has issues or whatever the fuck, or baggage or whatever the fuck. And I learned that quick in the last couple of years, like, as well. Like, yo, it ain't everybody that's meant to fight with you. Y'all are meant to fight the fight, but it's not everybody that's meant to fight with you. And you got to figure out what your lane is, what your space is, what your tribe is, in knowing that you're adorable and you're lovable and all of that things. But you got to figure out what your space is. And your space is not defined necessarily by anybody else. They can have influence on your space.
Yeah.
Your nurture could be influenced by where you were born and all that type of shit. But it doesn't define you per se. It doesn't hold you to a particular thing per se. You have to figure out who you are. Give yourself the space and the time to figure out who the fuck you are. And in figuring out who you are, you're going to figure out who your tribe is, what your purpose is, all that. And even if you don't figure it out, it ain't that big a deal.
Yeah, and then for me,
it
to
ain't that big a deal.
conclude, because I mean, we can continue talking. But for me, the last thing I will say is I had it perfectly formulated in my head, and then you talk.
I always do that. I always do that to you.
Oh yeah, just know that everybody struggles. Everybody is struggling.
Mm-hmm.
So don't worry too much. Don't look at other people too much. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know how they reach to a certain point. So fuck the socials. Everybody nice, laughing on vacation, engagement party, driving a big car, whatever kind of parties, that kind of nonsense. You don't know. People show you what they want you to see.
Exactly.
And just don't take that as the truth. And in that same vein, just know that we don't all have the same 24 hours, or we're not in the same boat. There's people like to say that, but we might be in the same ocean, but in the little.
There's a dinghy, there's a yacht, there's a this, there's a that, whatever.
And
whatever.
My 24 hours, if I have to work, and I don't have kids, and
a decent job,
I can commute within 10 minutes to my job, is not the same 24 hours. Somebody who has 5 kids, who doesn't have a car, whose job is at Bandabouw, and they're living in Fuik. So do not compare. Don't compare. You can't compare yourself. There's a healthy way for comparison to see, am I getting the targets that you really set for yourself, but you should not aim for a target. So you can look up to somebody and say, oh, okay, that's the life I want. This is a successful entrepreneur. And then you can say, okay, I'm going to try to follow, not blindly, because what works for Jantje doesn't, okay, I'm going with a Dutch name. What works for Junie doesn't necessarily work for Pedro. But you can aspire to for positive things if you set it for yourself. But do not try to compare yourself with others just for the sake of comparing, or just because of what you see and think that is necessary. Just do it for yourself, because you want to be a successful entrepreneur. You want to be healthy and fit. Then okay, surround yourself with people who are healthy and fit.
Right.
To motivate yourself and to learn from them. But just be you, do you, and try to feel what's right for you. You try this thing and it doesn't work out, then you try another thing, And
I have a half thing because you ended up on a wholesome thing. But if I'm thinking about it right, I have a half piece of advice, but I don't know if it's good advice or bad advice.
It's probably bad.
It's probably bad advice. Get some more pussy. Get some more pussy.
Whatever you want.
But enjoy that moment.
Why would you advise that?
I would advise that because again, this is advising 27-year-old Marlo, right?
Oh yeah, okay.
Right? 27-year-old Marlo, even though he's seen some shit, done some shit, whatnot, so he still very much had a Disney-fied version of the world, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so you could only get dick or pussy or whatever the fuck from your true love. And it ain't always like that. It's not always like that. And it's sometimes you can have meaningful link with somebody in passing in the night, and sometimes you can never link with a person you've been with for 10 years. You know what I mean? It's all a fucking crapshoot. It's all you need to sort it out as you go along.
Yeah.
But there's no template for it. And because of that, like I would tell him, just because in his mind, 27-year-old Marlo, getting pussy is like, like, oh, you just a whore, you just a dirty person, you just a this or that, whatever.
I feel, I mean, that's advice for 27-year-old Marlo. I would not advise that
to 27-year-old Denise. You don't need that advice.
Wacht, sowieso niet, maar any 27-year-old person, because my advice, but this is not to me, this is just to people.
Right.
You don't, it hoeft niet at 27. You can, if you want more pussy or dick, you can have that at any age, and you could even have that in a relationship once you discussed, and it's okay with the partners, that is the case.
Consent is non-binary royalty. There we go.
So boom. To me, that is not really advice you have to stick with. It is, do whatever you want. If you want that one true love and that is the thing, do that. If you think you need it more, I mean, it doesn't have to be this year. It could be the rest of your life.
Sowieso. Are we done?
Yeah, man.
Are we finished or are we done? You don't know that meme. You don't know that meme, do you? Like, you don't know that reference, do you? You don't know. Yeah, like, she's not hip hop, yo. Like, she's not like hip hop, so it's all good. We've answered every question. We have answered every question. We've answered every question. And to end off, like I said, this, guys, thank you. Thank you for real up, down, left, right. Thank you. And in saying thank you again, we're here. This is the last for a little bit, but it's not. But it's only going to be a little bit because we do plan on continuing. My partner is interested. I'm interested, and
yeah, man. So I would say keep an eye out on the socials.
Sowieso.
You're gonna see the announcements. We're gonna be dropping some nice
tidbits in between.
Yes, so just
keep it locked. As somebody them say, keep it locked.
And just stand by. We'll be back.
Yeah, man. Nay, but I don't know your middle name, but Denise Viver. So far, so good. Thank you for having me. Thank you for being a part of the thing. And guys, for real, I can't wait to see what we're gonna do. To you, my partner, one last year, so that we know that we ended off right, we start off right.
We didn't even discuss what we were drinking.
Motherfucker, I was drinking everything. Everything you see on the table, I've had. With the exception of the Tanqueray. Fuck it.
Yeah, I was having that.
Yeah, toch. Yeah, because...
Next season, I'm going back to Sir Edmund Gin. Sorry.
Yeah. Now, but guys, I've been Marlo Brown.
I still am Denise Faber.
And we are, we shall forever be
the
Drunken Monks. This is what it is. Peace, y'all.
Deuces.
Good night.